So, I am about to go get Botox for my migraines for the first time. I am very nervous, and I guess you're not supposed to wear makeup. I don't know. I don't remember if they sent me home with a list of things to do, because would have been months ago. Yeah. So I'm just twitchy. I'm just waiting for my friend to pick me up because I don't drive anymore. And so I'm going to tell you about some books that I wanted to tell you about before, but I didn't get a chance to finish reading them until last night. The first one is Bliss Montage by Ling Ma. It is a collection of short stories. They go from really weird to just incredibly moving and interesting, and everything is really well written. I did not actually sort of love the endings to some of these stories, but they suck you in from the beginning. And it's not that I don't dislike the ends, it's that a lot of them are will either take these really really sharp turns, or they'll end sort of abruptly, and you just feel like you're in lit class going okay, now I have to analyze this. And it was funny because when I started, the first story is probably the most unusual one that's in there. So if you start it and you're like, is this what it's going to be like? Actually, no. It's about a woman who lives in a house, a really big mansion, with her husband, her children, and her 100 ex-boyfriends. And I'm like, okay, I'm ready. What are the 100 ex-boyfriends representing? Are they representing the baggage in her life? And that was the wrong move. Because when you read the story, it can't really be dissected that easily. It's not, a simple sit around and just be like, okay, well, the 100 ex-boyfriends represent the baggage, and so no, there's a lot more going on there. And that's how I felt about sort of every single one of these stories, is either they're taking you for a ride, and they are just filled with meaning, but not necessarily layers of metaphors of, no, it's just meaning. Some of the things just are what they are, and you need to let the story happen rather than putting on your analytical thinking cap, because some of it is intensely dreamlike, and some of it is, yeah, sure, you could sit in lit class and tear these stories apart, but it doesn't feel the same way. I guess what I'm really trying to say is, I don't want to be back in class. I want to enjoy these stories for what they are. And they are occasionally strange, more occasionally than not strange. But what they are is little experiences that just take you in from the beginning. And where you start is not necessarily where you're going to end. And that's really cool. So again, Bliss Montage by Ling Ma. I have not read Severance. When I posted about Severance on my work page on Facebook, the Polyamorous Librarian, people were like, I was talking about the television show, they were talking about the book. So when I saw the new short story collection come up, I was like, hey. So I think I know what I'll be reading next year, which is Severance, to see what that is about, because I am intrigued now. Anyway, the other book that I read is Thistlefoot, Jenna Rose, I want to say Nethercott. I'm nowhere near where I usually do things. You can see that I am in my game room. But yeah, so I finished that last night, and I was like falling asleep on my face. I wanted to get it done because I really, really wanted to know what happened. I really wanted that sense of closure. It is amazing. It is a lot darker than I thought it was going to be. It's a lot more gory. I would put in some content notices for gore. Like, there was a lot more death, a lot of death. Men, women, children, babies. There's some self-harm under the influence of magic. And it is, yeah, I don't know why I thought that this wasn't going to be as scary as it was. It's scary. It's creepy. Like, it's definitely creepy. It is the story of a brother and a sister who inherit Baba Yaga's house. And someone else is after it. And the brother and the sister have their own history that has created a rift between them. And they each have an ability, the depth of which is unknown to the other. And so it's all about family secrets. It's all about a lot of resentment and generational pain. And it's really, really cool. And the house gets a couple of like in between chapters. And the house is quite the unreliable narrator, which is really neat. So definitely check that one out. They both came out yesterday, if I remember correctly. I am exhausted. I've been trying to flip my schedule so that I was awake for this appointment. I thought I did a great job, slept 9 hours last night, but it does not matter. My body was like, wouldn't it have been great if you had just slept a couple more hours? And I'm like, no. I mean, yes, but there was no way that was going to happen. I was so nervous about today. I also read a graphic novel called Hollow by Shannon Waters. And, that's Shannon Waters did Lumberjanes. This is a queer retelling of Sleepy Hollow. Not retelling. They live in Sleepy Hollow. The story exists there. There's some family members there who are basically milking that. And Izzy Crane moves to town, and she is just trying to deal, and then there's, a headless horseman, and it's really cool. I've been watching Headless, which is a short web series, 10 episodes. Each episode, I don't know, so far has been about, I want to say like 8 minutes or so. It's really cute and really funny. So when I saw that, I was like, yes, more Headless Horsemen. And they are both funny and charming in their own way. But this one is really interesting because I felt like the plot was very young, but at the same time, the romance, like, they were in a bed in their underwear at one point. So, like, I wasn't quite sure what the age group was, recommended age group was on this one. But, it's very, like, and then we, like, have this, like, stealing a thing from this teacher, like, I'm like, that's a very Disney Channel type, like, thing to do. And then I'm like, did they just, like, was that Fade to Black sex? They're waking up and then they, like, got underwear on. Like, I'm not, like, what's going on here? So I'm just telling you that in case you look at it and think it's for, like, younger kids. And so if you are a parent who draws lines at sexual content, that is what I'm letting you know. That is it. It is completely neutral that I'm telling you that. Whatever weight you put on that is your choice, not mine. Anyway, I've got to get going. My ride's going to be here any second. And if I'm not ready, that's really going to negate the part where I told her that I was ready an hour ago. Later.